I would like to welcome you all in the lecture series of Python programming. In this session, we are going to discuss what is the meaning of function in Python, significance of function. What do you mean by function? What are the types of function? Then the salient features of function. That is the major content of the session which we are going to discuss today. So let's understand the definition of function. In the Python programming, function is named a block of code that perform a particular task or group of tasks or a set of tasks. So we can able to perform a task by using a function. So Python function is like a self-contained, then reusable block of code that perform a particular task. Instead of writing so many lines, you can use the function and you can perform the task. That is advantage. So that program lines can be minimized. Your program should be, the number of lines should be as minimum as possible. That is another peculiarity, another salient features of a program. Also, the function can accept some input, especially like arguments or parameters. For example, function, it will look like this. Print, okay, print. So inside you are going to put the arguments. Here you are going to put the arguments. Understanding or not? This is actually the way how to write the function. It can accept some input called arguments or parameters. Process that input may produce certain output. For example, print. Welcome to Python programming. That the display. The main purpose is display. It is going to display at the output. The function may allow you to break down your code into smaller one. And it is very easy to manage and make it easier to write, understand, and maintain your program. In spite of writing so many lines, using a single like a display, inside you can put the arguments. Fine. Input. Enter the value of, enter the odd number or enter the even number. It will instruct the user to enter the value. Okay. Functions are fundamental concept in programming that have different purposes. The purposes are like to make the things modularity, then abstraction, reusability, parameterization, and it must have a return value. That means output. It has to get the proper output. It has to give the proper output. So these are the salient features. Now I would like to proceed further. So moving on to the discussion. The major purposes of functions are modularity, abstraction, reusability, parameterization, ultimately return value. What is modularity? Like a function allow you to break down the complex program into smaller one. In spite of writing so many lines, using the function, you can particularly give the task. By using the function, you can directly assign the task so that we can maintain in a whole longer program. We are preparing a few longer lines of program. A few part will be executed with the help of a function. So while defining the variable, you should be very much careful whether you should finalize whether it is a local variable or global variable. That you have to be very careful. However, what I am trying to convince you that modularity in the sense in the whole program. So a particular part can be executed with the help of a function. A group of tasks, a set of tasks can be easily assigned. A particular task you can easily assign by using like a function. That is why I mentioned about modularity. If I talk about the abstraction, the function abstract away the implementation details of the task. By looking at the arguments, we'll come to know what exactly which is happening. Regarding the reusability, you can call a function from multiple places in your program. So that is another features. At any time, you can call that particular function. Okay, it will execute. But variable, you should be very much careful. Make sure that it is a global variable or local variable. Parameter, I will let you know what is local and global variable in the next section. Parameterization in the sense, the function can take parameters, also known as arguments, that allow you to pass the data function, making possible customized behavior. So whatever you are writing, instead, for example, print. You can give the inside. You can give the your own statements. So that is the advantage. One of the salient feature. For example, print. For example, print. Hello world. Print. Here you can put like a hello world or hello globe, something like that. That is up to you, understood or not. This is actually called we can say parameterization. Return value is nothing in the sense where to get the result. Immediately, once the block is executed, you are able to get the result. If syntax, logic error, everything is fine, you will be getting the desired result. So these are the purposes of function. It has modularity, abstraction, reusability, parameterization, and ultimately it must have a return value. Should get the output appropriately. The function can be broadly divided into two types. First one is called a built-in function. Other one is called a user-defined function. So we'll familiar individually. What is the meaning of built-in function? Okay. So built-in function is already implemented by the developers. As we can see, these are the different inbuilt function or built-in function. So the function of print, it is used to display the output. Of course, you know. LEN is actually the length of an object. You can measure the length of a string or a list or tuple. List, tuple, or are called a data type. In the next module number 2, we are going to discuss about those data type. The function of input. Why input is required? It reads the input from the user. Input. So argument you can give like enter the even numbers. So enter the ATM pin like that. You can ask the user to give the value. Another one is called range. Generate the sequence of number. That is the purpose of range. Whenever you are for loop, using the for loop, we'll use the range. Type. Return type of an object. Okay, that is another type of inbuilt function. Max is actually the return the maximum value of a given sequence. Minimum. Function of minimum function. Duty of minimum function is to return the minimum value from the sequence. If I go for like a sum, it returns the sum of sequence of a number. If I go for like ABS, what is the meaning of ABS? It returns the absolute value of a number. If I go for like a round, so like a rounding off, you know what is rounding off? So it round the number of specialized number of decimal points, round off. For example, 3.001. Let us make it as 3, like that. So I think it's clear to everybody. The second type of function that you can observe here, that is called user-defined function. You know, Python is having one of the salient feature. It supports so many number of user-defined function. How to define user-defined function? Yes, whenever you are defining a user-defined function, you need to use the keyword called def. After def, whatever you want, you can type. For example, I am going to create my own function. Here, tell me what is the name of the function. Yes, I can say that the name of the function is add. Add is the name of a function. The arguments you can give a, b. Okay, for example, the output I should get like a return a plus b. Okay, this is actually within the function. Now let's see whether the function will operate or not. For example, let me add inside the parenthesis, give the variables 5, 3. Print the result of the adding 5 and 3. That is the result. Okay, so you should get the result. I request you to type the program in any one of the interpreter which you are convenient. So you can get the output very easily. Here you will understand add is becoming as a function. I have done the programming. So simple program. This is not a programming. Few lines are there. I request everybody to work out once so that you will understand what is the meaning of user-defined function. How will you define the function? No need to copy paste. Directly you have to type. Then only you will come to know what is the need for that particular program. Remember, here we require the keyword called def. Return means output. Output should be sum of a plus b. You are defining. Correct? Yes. So this is actually the 2 lines which is actually defining a user-defined function. Now let us see the meaning of the program. We are defining. Initially, what we are going to do is, you can look at the right side. We define the add function and we'll call it in the arguments 5 and 3. You are putting like 2 values. For example, 5 and 3 are the variables. The function add these 2 numbers and return the result, which is then printed to the console. That will be actually happening here. So this is the way how to define a function. Hope the concept is clear to everybody. Let me know if you have any queries related to this. So I'm happy to answer in the comment box. Okay. So after discussing the user-defined function, we have done the discussion. Later, I will be moving on the salient features of a function. So we have the facility for duplicating the code. In the sense, get rid of duplicating or copy and pasting the code. It makes the program shorter, easy to read, and easy to update. That is another feature. Also, you can write your own function. For example, in the earlier case, what I have written, look at this, def. It's a user-defined function. Starting to create a user-defined function, I am using a keyword called a def. add a comma b, add a comma b. So add a, this add become a function. Then function like, as you can observe, a function like is a mini program within the program. It's a mini program within the program. That's also clear to everybody. Basically, we have so many number of lines. In between, few lines that is consuming only for operation of the function. So like it's a subsystem, or it's a sub part of the entire lines. Okay, so we consider it's a part of the one part of the program. Program inside the program. Inside the function, definitely some program will be running, right? So program inside the program that we can like represent. A major purpose of the function is to group the code that gets executed multiple number of times. So that is another salient feature of function. So you can go through the salient features of a function, try to understand the significance of function. In this video, I have discussed about what is function, what are the types of function, what are the salient features of function, and the general features of function also we have discussed it. And also I have shown you one example. I request everybody to type the program in the interpreter and get the output. In case any queries, kindly put up in the comment box. I'm very happy to answer back. If you are watching my channel first time, I request everybody to share and subscribe. I thank you very much for your support. Let me conclude the session. Happy learning.